2 minutes. John. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen and staff, and welcome to the July Council meeting of Murrumbidgee Council. In the spirit of open, accessible and transparent government, and to ensure this meeting is open to the public, this council meeting is being recorded and live streamed to the Murrumbidgee Council Facebook page, and a recording will also be placed on Council's website following the meeting. I note that we will note all those that are present. Do we have any apologies? If not, we will move on. We move to confirmation of the minutes of the ordinary council meeting of the 29th of June 2021. Would somebody like to move, please? Moved Councillor Smith, seconded Councillor Brown. Those in favour, please say aye. Those against? Carried. Thank you. I remind you of your pecuniary interest declarations. If there is anything that needs to come from the floor, please say so or do so now. If not, we'll move to item 1, which is the mayoral report.
Well, we've got notices of motion. Yep.
Sorry, okay, well, we'll move to the notices of motion first. Sorry, we'll just backtrack. Sorry, helps if you read the agenda. Okay, so the notices of motion are as follows.
So if you, the first one, the notices of motion that have been put forward by Councillor Wells, the first one. So we'll read the thing that the Darlington Point Wharf be investigated as to the restoration, rebuilding of this part of the history of the Murrumbidgee River and heritage of this area. Councillor Wells, would you like to comment on your notice of motion?
If I can get a seconder, I'd like to formally put that motion. Thank you. As is.
Rob Curfew, please.
Moved Councillor Wells, seconded Councillor Curfew. Please speak, Councillor Wells.
As I briefly said earlier on, I believe that the wharf is history of not only the Darlington Point region, but of the Murrumbidgee River. When it was erected and utilised only once or twice, that I believe, for the transporting of wool from the area, livestock, and also produce up to this area. And I'd like to think that as part of history for this area, that council could be involved in its resurrection in some form. Thank you.
Okay. Are there any other speakers for or against? If not, I'll put
This is just the investigation that we spoke about.
I'll move that resolution. Those in favour, please say aye or raise your hands. Those against?
Aye.
I declare that carried. Okay. Motion number 2.
On consultation with Councillor Wells, we asked to defer this second one. So just a mover and a seconder that the Bits Road drainage notice of motion be deferred to the August 21 meeting.
Move Councillor Wells. Somebody like to second that, please? Seconded Councillor Black. Those in favour, please say aye. Against? Aye. Carried. Thank you. Item notice of motion number 3.
Notice of motion as modified by Councillor Wells that a high-level report on the urban road and drainage within Darlington Point, Collie, Amberley and Jerilderie be presented to Council with the aim to clear the streets of stagnant water and to protect the road pavement, to inform the asset management process and future repairs and maintenance programs. Any comments, Councillor Wells?
No, as I said earlier on, I'm concerned about the drainage on the road pavement in the Darlington Point area, and I'm not familiar with the other 2 towns. I'm sorry about that, but I do know the Darlington Point area roadways and drainage are a priority for our residents and ratepayers. But I will if I can get a second, but I'll formally move that motion as printed.
Okay, move Councillor Wells. Would somebody second that, please? Move Councillor Smith. Those in favour, please say aye or raise your hand. Those against, I declare that carried. Okay, notice of motion number 4, please.
So, Curfew Place roundabout that's on discussion of the of options presented to Councillor Wells. That his modified notice of motion is that a report be presented to the Traffic Committee to authorise a no-through road sign erected on Curfew Place, Darlington Point. Any comments, Councillor Wells?
No. Can the roundabout be included in that motion?
So, as a second step, if required,
Yes.
or
Yes, as a second step.
With a further report to be presented to council as to council onto the usage, the traffic counts and things to determine if a cul-de-sac is required at the end of Curfew Place. Well, there is no road, it's just a cul-de-sac. Yep.
Okay, you, Councillor Wells, are you happy with that?
Yes, if I can get a seconder, I'll formally move that, please.
Okay, moved Councillor Wells, seconded Councillor Kirby. I put that motion. Can I just make that quickly?
Only that we were talking about putting signs up to say that the boat entrance to the boat ramp is via Cemetery Road, so that people don't think that that road is the road to the boat ramp.
Well, I think that comes up under the boat ramp.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, put that under the boat ramp.
Well, we can put that there, no through roads and other signage indicating boat ramp. Yeah.
Sorry, okay. What are we going to include there?
And other signage, directing boat ramp access. Yeah.
Okay.
So that'll tell them.
So we'll read this, Councillor Wells, for your clarification. Moved on the motion of Councillors Wells and Curfew that a report be presented to the Traffic Committee to authorise a no-through road and other signage directing boat ramp access for erection on Curfew Place, Darlington Point. A further report to be presented to Council re-usage, traffic counts, etc. if a cul-de-sac is required at the end of Curfew Place. Are you happy with that?
Thank you.
Okay, I'll put the motion. Those in favour, please say aye. Raise your hand. Those against, I declare that carried. Notice of motion number 5.
Down. I can see which one it is. Just in relation to the notice of motion that a centre line be placed on the sweeping bend on Stock Street as a safety issue. Comments, Councillor Wells?
No, it's, I believe that something needs to happen there, and I'm quite happy to work with whatever management would suggest as a notice of motion to complete that.
Okay, so that motion is moved by Councillor Wells. Will somebody second, please? Seconded Councillor Smith.
Councillor Gilbertson.
Sorry, Gavin, you're off my radar. Sorry. Councillor Smith, I'll put that. Those in favour, please say aye or raise your hand. Those against, I declare that carried. Notice of motion number 6, please.
The guardrail at the Darlington Point boat ramp, so that that the Darlington Point boat ramp have a guardrail erected at the parking bay of the new boat ramp at a cost of $30,000 to be funded from Stronger Communities Fund. Councillor Wells, any comments?
No, I'll formally put that if I can get a seconder. Thank you.
Okay, moved Councillor Wells, seconded Councillor Curfew. I'll put that recommendation.
Can I just change it slightly? With your approval, can we be a little bit more specific there and say against Waddy Creek?
Sure.
That abuts
You're happy for that?
Parking bay against Waddy Creek.
I'm not 100% sure that is Waddy Creek. I'd have to get some
It is on
confirmation
Google
that.
Maps. It is on
I'm not
Google
worried
Maps.
I'm not worried about Google Maps. To replace the cement bollards, I'd be happy with.
Yes.
Well, we'll probably leave the cement bollards there because we'll just cause issues ripping them up. But if you say the creek side, that would be enough because the only other side is the bank side, the levee bank.
Correct.
And it's not coming down the road. I'm just trying to
Yep.
confine it to just where the creek is.
Yep.
Have the guardrail erected. Okay, I'll read this back to you, Councillor Wells. Resolved on the motion of Councillors Wells and Curfew that the Darlington Point boat ramp have a guardrail erected on the creek side at the parking bay on the new boat ramp at a cost of $30,000 to be funded from Stronger Communities Fund. Is that okay?
Correct. Thank you.
No worries. Okay, I'll put the motion. Those in favour, please say aye or raise your hand. Those against, declare that carried. Okay.
And the final notice of motion to be dealt with today from Councillor Wells is that, in discussion with Councillor Wells, that the access road to the Darlington Point boat ramp be completed and removed from the top of the levee bank and prioritised for consideration in future budgets and funding rounds.
Okay.
Councillor Wells?
I'll formally move that if I can get a seconder. Thank you.
Okay, move Councillor Wells, seconded Councillor Gilbert. Is there any other conversation around this? If not, I'll put the motion. Those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Those against? Aye. Carry. Thank you. Okay. We'll move on to item number 1, which is the Mayor's report. Those of us that are trying to work our way through this prolonged COVID issue find ourselves challenged every day on different fronts. And the priority is to keep our communities as safe as we possibly can. We're incredibly fortunate to live where we live and to have our access to healthcare. We need to focus on what we control. And when things are not, we don't have many options of control, adhering to the public health orders and being vigilant is how we're moving forward. We must be mindful of those in our community that are isolated or disengaged due to age, circumstance and whatever. So as community representatives, we need to be very mindful and watchful and engage with our communities to find out if our people are being as best serviced as they can be. There is a level of complacency and COVID fatigue out there. It's very real, but that matched by the numbers that keep coming forward on a daily basis just needs to keep us motivated to keep as safe as we can. We've had very welcome rain in our council footprint. Things are actually pretty wet, but days like today where the sun's been out and the wind has been moving are very helpful. Our major projects continue to progress, which will be a challenge in the next little while. The sporting precinct at Collyambley is moving along, as is the preschool and long day care centre in Murrumbidgee, and it's exciting to watch these projects moving along as they should be. Our Rotary Walk Shared Spaces project is ready to be opened. That, of course, will happen as soon as we are able to gather, but gathering just at the moment is a bit of a challenge. Ongoing issues that are affecting us at Council and the greater region are the affordable and social housing, recruitment and retention of staff across all fields, including professional, trade qualified and unskilled, mental health access and equity and accessible pathways for all health services, economic development and investment. It's a pretty full book here at Council with what's coming across our table, and maintaining a finger or a seat at the table on all of those that can help us and support us is a big challenge, especially given the geographics of what we're working with at the moment. We all know that the local government elections now have been moved to the 4th of December, which is probably sensible, but it creates other issues around the table. my counsel to those sitting at the table and those that are considering sitting at the table is to think long and hard about it, because while it's a very worthwhile thing to do, it's actually a privilege. The commitment to being at the table is nothing that should be underestimated. Being able to marry community expectation within a workable budget and local government legislation is no easy task. So when people are speaking to us or considering standing for council, encouraging greater diversity and people to put their hand up needs to be balanced with just exactly what that level of commitment requires. And below are just some meetings I've attended. I've attended many water meetings. There's a report there today on your tables, just the State of the Nation reply regarding the Sidland projects in the Enco Creek. And we have had some Western Regional Planning Panel meeting. We are still trying to work our way through the creation of a Chamber of Commerce in Jerilderie, and staffing issues against trying to attract staff not only for local government but for all professions, and a freight train coming down the track at us at the moment is trying to staff our health facilities, and what will become a really, really, really tenuous situation is if the COVID reaches into our regional communities, because our ability to staff our health facilities is hanging by a thread now. So that's my report. Are there any questions, please? No.
Can I have one question, please?
Yes, Councillor Wells.
Within your report, you mentioned that the Colliambley voting precinct is coming along.
Yes.
Have there been any more major changes to that, and how is it running budget-wise, please?
Tell him about today.
I think, Councillor Wells, there have been some variations along the way, as Tom has alluded to in his report, but it is moving along, and the proposed completion date of the 30th of August, I think, is well on track at the moment. Given today's news of them closing the border bubble, that may present a challenge, but at this stage, yes, we are confident that it will be completed as the date timeline says.
Thank you.
Okay, and yeah, that's about all we have to report on. We will have to have a mayoral election in September, because as we're all aware, the terms are 2-year terms for the mayor, and our mayor was elected in 2019. So we will have to have that, I guess, at the council meeting, will we, John? In September. Okay. Any further questions? No. Okay. Somebody like to move that report, please. Moved Councillor Churgwin, seconded Councillor Curfew. Those in favour, please say aye. Those against, carried. Thank you. Item 2, please.
Thank you, Councillor McRae. Just reiterating some of the COVID news. Murrumbidgee Council is no longer in the border bubble with Victoria. We are lobbying our local member in relation to that, or the member for Albury, to try and have his conversations with the cross-border commissioner to see what advocacy can be done, because as Councillor McRae pointed out, the childcare centre and the Colliambley Sports Precinct, both teams have employees on those sites from across the border into Victoria, which would make it difficult for them to be able to complete their works. So that will be an ongoing advocacy to see if that can be dealt with at all, to be able to keep those jobs going. So the border bubble closes effective at 11:59 tonight for Murrumbidgee, City of Wagga, Lockhart Shire and Hay. All the others are untouched. moving on, the Darlington Point Caravan Park Master Plan, as presented at the workshops, is ready to go forth to the community for further consultation. So the recommendation is to put forward that on public exhibition and to authorise additional reports. We have a small amount of money left over in the funds for the caravan park in the order of about $70,000 to be able to commence some of these reports that we need to complete before any redevelopment can occur at the caravan park. Also, we spoke about the consultation paper developed by the New South Wales Office of Local Government in relation to General Manager and Senior Staff remuneration. That's presented there for Council to pass a resolution on to authorise the Mayor to sign and send away in relation to that. The Regional Tourism Activation Grant, have been made aware of two streams, one for infrastructure grant between $200,000 and $5 million for projects delivered, unique and high impact visitor experiences, or stream 2 for accessibility and inclusion. So there are a few things that we might be able to do, maybe in partnership, if we can. If we can't, then there's some ability to try for some accessibility and inclusion without having to contribute anything moving forward. When I wrote this report, the Queensland border was open, the Victoria border was opened, and everything. So I'd requested a couple of banks of annual leave, which may get thrown into disarray. The 25th to the 27th of August was a couple of options there to go north to Mackay to pick up my mother. I had an option to fly up and fly her back. I had an option to fly up and drive her car back, and I had an option to drive up and drive back. I had no idea whichever border was going to be open where I could go. And to fly up, it would be out of Melbourne so that she could be on the bigger planes all the way. And to take a break at December, which will probably be thrown into disarray because of the local government election anyway, at the time, let alone COVID. So I wish to ask for those for leave and the use of the vehicle at that time, but be well aware that I might be coming back and saying I've scrapped all of those things because of all those other reasons and things. We know the election has been postponed to the 4th of December. Have no idea whether it's going to be postponed again or not. They've actually virtually said on Christmas Eve or the 23rd of December would be the dates that the councillors would be announced, and then we've got to have our first meeting and all of those sort of things. So time just trying to work it all out and do all of those things. It's one of the on the time when you're not looking at any of those sort of things, this is what we've got to do. So there's quite a few things in the mix that I may not be taking leave in relation to that. And then there's those other things. So decisions for council to make, the recommendations are there, but really would be to choose whether we're going to go for stream 1 or stream 2 or both, and just give us an authorisation of those things and move forward. Councillor McRae.
Okay. Are there any questions of the General Manager first and foremost? No? Okay. Does somebody would like to move? Number three.
Number 3. Which way are we going to go? We're going to go 1 or 2 or both? And
I would, as a councillor, I would like to see that the application stream 1 for Altina Wildlife Park be included in stream 1. If we can. And stream 2, I'd like to see if there was an ability to have our lift and exchange facilities included in some way using the Kidman Way tourism opportunity so that we can develop that experience for people to come into our council footprint. Councillor Churgwin.
I was going to say, in addition to that, are we allowed to have two options for Stream 2?
Yeah.
I think we can put in as many applications as we like, but
Yeah, well,
they'll tell us.
the other option is the linking up of the pathways, or a way of getting, or a footbridge even over the Murrumbidgee to link up the caravan park with the main part of Darlington Point.
And Ashton Street, as we spoke about.
Sorry.
Ashton Street, Jerilderie as an option. Okay. Are there
Right.
any? So, Julie, are they included?
So it'll be, the application under Stream 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Is that's what will change?
Yeah.
And 2.
What about there should be
And should an application be under Stream 1, contributions up to 1.2 would be sourced from
Loan funds.
partnership.
Well, yeah, right, partners.
Partnerships.
Partnerships.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Nice.
So, if we go back to the start of the resolution, please, Julie. Okay, resolved on the motion of, would somebody like to move, please? Moved Councillor Churgwin, seconded Councillor Bryce, and the motion, the recommendations will read. On the motions of Councillors Churgwin and Bryce that the contents of the General Manager's monthly report be noted, and 1A, Council place on public exhibition the draft Darlington Point Caravan Park Master Plan, encouraging feedback from community and stakeholders, and B, Council authorise the additional reports as identified to be commenced using remaining grant funds provided for the said purpose. Upon successful granting of additional funds, complete all reports to shape the final scope of the caravan park redevelopment. 2, Council submit to the Office of Local Government the submission as presented in the July 2021 agenda papers, duly signed by Mayor Councillor Ruth McRae. 3, the General Manager be authorised to submit applications under both Streams 1 and Stream 2 of the Regional Tourism Activation Grant. Should the application be made under Stream 1, Council's contribution up to 1.25 million be sourced from partnerships. And 4A, Council grant annual leave to the General Manager, John Scares, for the periods 25 to 27 August 2021 and 11th of December 2021 to the 9th of January 2022. And B, the General Manager be authorised to take the private use vehicle into the state of Queensland for the periods of granted annual leave being 25 to 27 August 2021 and 11th of December 2021 to the 9th of January 2022. I'll put that recommendation. Those in favour, please say aye. Those against? I declare that carried. I can, please. Oh, 3, please.
Oh.
Skate park and pump track, we've received tenders back through our tender link panel. As you can see through the report, the 2 tenderers were Haley Constructions and Sports Concepts.
Okay.
We
Council
pass the
like to
resolution, we'll
endorse-
talk about it in closed business.
Okay.
because it goes to confidential.
So we pass this.
Somebody like to move? Move Councillor Smith, seconded Councillor Brown. The recommendation will read that the Council consider a separate confidential report on the tender, Jerilderie Skate Park / pump track, and Darlington Point mini skate bowl, design and construction, in accordance with section 10A, in brackets 2, in brackets 3, in brackets I, of the Local Government Act 1993. Those in favour, please say aye. Those against? Carried. Thank you. Item number 4, please.
So, council had a presentation 2 weeks ago from Stephen in relation to the Crown Land management plans. They are included in the executive summary and gone through. So the recommendation to council is just to put them on public display, and at that time they'll go there and then they'll come back. So, any questions in relation to the Crown Lands management plans?
Any questions? Councillor? No? Move Councillor Brown. Somebody like to second, please? Second, Councillor Black. Are there any further questions of John, please? If not, I'll move the recommendation. It reads, the draft, moved on the motion of Councillors Brown and Black, that the draft plans of management for Crown Land managed by Murrumbidgee Council be endorsed to enable them to proceed to public exhibition. Those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Those against? Carried. Thank you. Okay. We'll now move to the officers' reports for noting. Item number 5, please. Speak up, Vicky, please.
Councillors, I present the monthly cash and investments report. So to the period of 30th of June 2021, noting that the amount of cash on hand also includes a prepayment of the financial assistance grant for 21-22, as it has been for the last number of years.
Okay. Somebody like to move, please? Move Councillor Churdman, second Councillor Smith. Are there any questions of Vicky, please? If not, I will read the recommendation that moved on the motion of Councillors Churdwin and Smith. The Council note the monthly cash and investment report containing the bank balances and schedule of investments as at 30th of June 2021. Those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Those against? Carried. Thank you. Item number 6, please.
This is a quarterly report on the Stronger Community Funds as it sits at the 30th of June. Noting that there are 18 projects completed from within the major projects fund, further 15 that have commenced, and the couple noted there that are still yet to be commenced, although I have used Collyamberley Community Hall. There have been some draft plans and some consultation happen around that. At this stage, there'd been no expenditure against that project. And again, the town water supplies for Collyamberley and Darlington Point, which we're still waiting the completion of the integrated water cycle management plan.
Okay. Somebody like to move? Sorry, Vicky. Sorry.
No, that's fine. I was going to say if there are any questions on the attachment.
Move, please. Move Councillor Smith, seconded Councillor Bryce. Are there any questions of Vicky, please?
Isn't it,
Councillor Smith?
isn't it the Giraldry and Darlington Point?
The Giraldry has had some funds already expended from that, so that has had some works commenced already, as in the filtration ladder that was there. So that's a commenced one. Still, it is also awaiting the outcome of the IWCM for completion.
Have you got any idea, Vicky, how long before? Have you got any idea, Vicky, how long before we get that? Because it's been a while.
I would have to refer that to others.
Tom, where's the integrated water cycle management report?
That's not due until the end of October. I reported that council quite.
Okay.
We've got short memories.
Okay.
Exceptionally.
Okay. So, for everybody's information, the report will be due at the end of October. Are there any further questions of Tom? Not Tom, Vicky. If not, the recommendation will read. Resolved on the motion of Councillors Smith and Bryce that the information contained in the Stronger Communities Fund report to June 2021 be noted. Those in favour, please say aye. Those against? Carried. Thank you. Number 7, please.
Council, again, a quarterly report on the Council Implementation Fund. So that's the merger money. You'll note there the remaining funds unexpended at the end of June were 186,716. Major project continuing at the present time is the LEP.
Somebody like to move, please? Move Councillor Smith, second Councillor Brown. Are there any questions of Vicky?
Is that the final cost for the mobile tower, Bunjua Tower?
Yes.
Oh, that's okay.
Can we get some more hardware to put on it so it works better?
Turn it up a bit.
Can we ramp it up a bit?
I can't answer those questions, sorry.
Can you tell us if it's been hot wired at the bottom? Otherwise, we might have a crack at getting up and, yeah. Okay, are there any further questions of Vicky? If not, I'll put the recommendation which reads on the motion of Councillors Smith and Brown that the information contained in the new Council Implementation Fund report to June 2021 be noted. I'll put that recommendation. Those in favour, please say aye. Those against? Carried. Thank you.
Council is just a quarterly review of the charges collection report to the 30th of June 21, noting that 94% of rates and annual charges have been collected, which is basically equivalent to the same period last year.
Somebody like to move, please? Moved Councillor Churgwin, seconded Councillor Smith. Are there any questions of Vicky? Any further questions in this space? If not, I'll put the recommendation which reads motion of Councillors Churgwin and Smith that the information contained in the rates and annual charges collection report be noted. Those in favour, please say aye. Those against? Carried. Thank you. Item 9, please, Vicky.
Council is reporting on the loan borrowings as at the 30th of June 2021. The remaining loan is the internal loan from the sewer fund to the general fund for the purpose of real estate development. There will, of course, possibly be in the very near future additional loans, which are noted in the current operational plan. But as it sits at this stage, it's just an internal loan, so that there will be no loans that will show on the balance sheet as at the end of June 21.
Okay. Would somebody like to move Vicky's? Moved Councillor Smith, seconded Councillor Bryce. Are there any further questions of Vicky? No. If not, I'll put the recommendation that states on the motion of Councillors Smith and Bryce that the information contained in the loan borrowings report be noted. Those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Those against? Carried. Thank you. Thank you, Vicky. We're up to item 10, please.
So in the absence of Kelly, just the development applications approved under delegation sits in front. So if you've got any questions, I will refer them to Kelly and get back to you. Otherwise, Councillor McCray?
Right. Would somebody like to move? Move Councillor Black, seconded Councillor Smith. Are there any questions you would like the General Manager to pursue with Kelly? If not, I'll put the recommendation, which reads on the motion of Councillors Black and Smith that the information contained in the development application approved under delegation report to June 2021 be noted. Those in favour, please say aye. Those against? Carried. Thank you. Would somebody like to move that we move into confidential, please? Moved Councillor Smith, seconded Councillor Churgman. Those in favour, please say aye. Those against? Carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
No, thanks for you. Okay. All right. Do we need to move that we're back in council?
You just read it out.
Okay, we're at item number 12, which is regarding the Jewellery Skate Park, Pump Track and Darlington Point Mini Skate Bowl design and construction. Resolved on the motion of Councillors Gilbert and Smith that 1, Council endorse a recommendation of the tender evaluation team and accept the tender from the trustee for Haley Constructions Proprietary Limited for Jewellery Skate Park and Pump Track and Darlington Point Mini Skate Bowl design and construction for $461,200 and is that $6 or $8? $206.50 excluding GST. Tender reference RFT 2021-02. And 2, the contract documents and any other associated documents be executed on behalf of the council in accordance with Clause 165 of the local government regulation by the General Manager, Director of Infrastructure as the principal's representative. I'll put that recommendation. Those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Those against? Carried. Thank you. And we now, there being no further business, the meeting closed at 3:55. Okay. Gavin.
Yeah. Yes.